Good morning, honored guests, esteemed faculty and colleagues, family and friends, and 2024 Master of Psychology graduates. I hereby declare this convocation ceremony in session. You may be seated. You would like to wait? If you'd like to, yes. And we'll call you. Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to our drummers. I invite Chantal Hollander, our Chief Executive Officer, to acknowledge this land.
Thank you, Chancellor Page. We would like to acknowledge that the place in which we gather, now known as Toronto, Ontario, has been a site of human activity for Indigenous peoples since time immemorial, and is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Huron-Wendat and Petun First Nations, the Seneca and Mississaugas of the Credit River. This territory is governed by the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Belt Covenant, an agreement between the Haudenosaunee and Anishinaabe Ojibwe confederacies and allied nations, intended to peaceably share and care for the lands, waters, and resources around the Great Lakes. I call on all of us gathered here today and witness to this acknowledgement to respectfully recognize the enduring presence of Indigenous peoples in our communities and commit to engaging with our Indigenous relatives in reciprocal relationships that are honorable, accountable, and focused on necessary change. Welcome, esteemed faculty, board of directors, staff, family, loved ones, honored guests, friends, to Adler Graduate Professional School's 11th convocation. Woo! And of course, welcome graduates. We joined together to honor, recognize, and celebrate your significant achievement. So before we get started in honoring all of you, I would really just like to take a small moment to acknowledge the family, friends, loved ones of the graduates, both present and not able to join us today. So we really recognize the crucial role that you've played in getting the students here to this point today, graduates. So I'm going to ask the graduates to stand up, turn around, face your loved ones, and give them a well-deserved standing ovation. Thank you, Miigwech. Yes. Couldn't have done it without you. So you can take a seat again, and it is my privilege to introduce Bob Watts, our Indigenous advisor, to offer an invocation. Thank you, Miigwech.
Bonjour, Sago, Kanoshingwake Magazine, Dijnakas, Makwadodam. So my name is Kanoshingwak. It means tall pine, and I'm really honored to be part of this convocation and to offer some words of invocation or prayer. So I'd ask that we bring our hearts and our spirits and our minds together as one in gratitude for all the blessings of all of creation. I'd like to first of all acknowledge the drum and the drummers that have been with us, and to share that sacred gift, that sacred song with all of us. And ask that we kind of think that we're sitting together in ceremony, and we're sitting around a sacred fire. And that sacred fire is giving life and love and heat and warmth to each and every one of us without hesitation. And to think of Mother Earth kind of in that same way, about how she gives to all of us without hesitation and carries out those instructions that she was given at the beginning of time. And so I'd like to honor and say Chimigwach and Yawagoa to those four worlds of the earth, for that mineral world, the rocks and the soils and the sands and the clays, for the support that they give all of creation. And next we would turn our minds to the plant world, and we think about the trees and the shrubs and the flowers and the herbs and the grasses and on, all those parts of the plant world that sustain all of us. And in particular, in our culture, we think about the strawberry this time of year, that first beautiful fruit, and that heart fruit, which is good medicine for all of us. And then we turn our minds to the world, the animal kingdom, and we think about the flyers and the swimmers, those that walk on the ground, those that crawl on the ground, and those that crawl in the ground. And we'd say Chimigwech and Yawagoa to all those parts of the animal kingdom for helping to teach us how to live on Mother Earth and how to take care of each other. And then we turn our minds to the human family and give thanks for all those blessings and all those teachings that all of us, no matter where we come from in this world, that we've been given by Creator, how to conduct ourselves and how to create societies and how to work with our families and how to work amongst each other in peace and friendship. And say Chimigwech and Yawagoa for all of that teaching that has been given to each and every one of us. And then we turn our minds to this time that we've been in. We've just gone through this time of pandemic, which has been really tough on so many people around the world. But we think about those people who have sacrificed for all of us to keep us safe. The first responders, the nurses, the doctors, the people that mop the floors in the hospitals, the clerks in stores, everybody who gave so much to keep all of us safe and healthy, and to their families who supported them. And we ask Creator to send a special blessing to each and every one of them. And we think about some of the enduring parts from that pandemic, some of the challenges that society is going through, mental health challenges and other challenges, and ask that we be given the wisdom and the guidance to be able to live with each other and to help each other in a peaceful and a healthy way. We ask Creator to bless these graduates and to bless the journey that they're embarking on, and to keep them safe and to keep them healthy, and to help them to manifest that oath that they take, that oath of how they're going to be caregivers to the world. And next we turn our minds to their families and to their friends and to their loved ones, and ask Creator to send a special blessing to each and every one of their loved ones and families who have supported them and guided them and helped them in their journey, and ask for the blessings for those families. And then we think of my good friend Michael Thrasher and ask Creator to send a special blessing to him, that he's given so much to so many families and so many communities across this country and is going to be honored here today. So we ask for a special blessing for Michael and for his loved ones, that he might be able to continue this work that he's been doing and sharing that love and caring and guidance throughout all of the country. So for all of those things, we just say Chimigwech and Yawagoa for all these blessings that we have. We've come together in gratitude, we've come together in celebration, and we ask Creator to bless each and every one of you here. Oh, Miigwech, Yawagoa.
Thank you, Bob. Miigwech. My name is Linda Page. I'm the Chancellor and Chief Academic Officer here at Adler Graduate Professional School. I always get so excited about these ceremonies that I get out of breath. So. I warmly welcome each and every one of you to honor this extraordinary group of scholar practitioners who completed their degrees during the past academic year. I would like also to acknowledge the guests that we have, board members, Malika Hollander, Jim Essex, and friends and family of Michael, and other honored guests. You'll hear more about them a bit later. Would you please, those of you who are guests here, our special guests, would you at least raise your hand so people know where you are? And then it's just going to take too long to introduce each of you. I would love to, but if any of you graduates want to get acquainted with any of these people, just come up after and say hello. Seated here on the stage are many of the faculty members and some of the staff who have helped students along their way at Adler. One of these key people today is not here, and that, as you know, is Adam Lazinski, who passed away suddenly just a couple of weeks ago. He has taught at Adler since 2007. He was the director of our transitional equivalency program, which many of you students took, and some of the faculty, in fact. He had basically every one of you in one class or another, or helped you through your MRPs or theses. He was incredible, and his death has hit our community hard. And I wanted to simply say something personal about that. Adam was a dear colleague, and he and I like to come up with ideas together. We talk for hours about, oh, we could do this, no, we could do this, no, we could. And I sorely miss him. I was invited to a powwow last weekend and near Ottawa. And as I went there, I went past the people who were making, indigenous people who were making things that people might want who are at the powwow. And I walked past one booth and one skirt, ribbon skirt. I looked at it and I thought, wow, why am I so drawn to that? And this is the skirt. I'm going to talk about it here. So I went up to the person who had made it. Her name was Marie, an Anishinaabe person. And I said to her, what do the colors mean? And I think you will notice that the ceremonial shirts of some of the indigenous people here, including Michael Thrasher, these are the costume. I mean, we put on these costumes, right, in the Western world, and in the indigenous world, these ribbon shirts are the ceremonial equivalent of our robes. And so they are more, Michael said, if I'm in this ceremony, then I would like to wear my ceremonial costume. And we said, oh yes, please do. But I saw this skirt, and I said to Marie, I said, what do these colors mean? And she made it clear to me that it wasn't important what the colors meant to her, but rather what they meant to me. So I looked at them. I was thinking, why was I so attracted? I thought, well, it's like a day, right? Nighttime, dawn, midday, and then afternoon, and back to dusk, and nighttime again. I thought, that's like going through a day. And I thought, it's also like going through a life. And I thought at that moment, that's why I was attracted to this skirt, because I had been thinking so much about Adam and knowing of his connection to the indigenous community. And when I saw the skirt, I thought, I had a sense, and this is in a context of a community that is very carefully attends to people who are in grief and allows a space for that to happen. And so I thought, have I allowed that space? I want to take an action that represents my own personal journey in grieving Adam. And so I thought, I have to have this skirt. And then I thought, and I have to wear it today. And I think you will notice the combination of the drummers and the piper and the robes and the ribbon shirts and skirts. And in a sense, I've known Michael for many, many years. You'll hear more from him later. But he and I have made a pact to try to figure out what reconciliation really means. Yes, we acknowledge that we're on this land, but there's more to be done. And that's what we are attempting to figure out how to do in a way that is respectful and gives all the communities involved a sense of their own voice and their own decision-making. So that's my personal part. I would like now to introduce, sitting here on the stage, of course, no one can take Adam's place, but his daughter, Monika Ledzinski, has agreed to come and be here, sitting with the faculty, to represent Adam. Monika, would you be willing to come and say a few words, please?
Thank you, Linda. Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me here today. It is an honor and privilege to be able to stand in the place of my father, Dr. Adam Ledzinski. I know that he is smiling down on each and every one of you today and proud of your accomplishments. As he used to say, onwards and upwards, and with a smile. Congratulations, and thank you for having me here.
Monika has generously contributed a painting or an art piece that Adam made, and we will be showing it at the school. So hope you'll all take time to come and take a look. Thank you, Monika. We gather today to celebrate the achievements of students and the faculty, and something else that we're doing today. For the very first time in the history of Adler, we are giving a meritorious degree. Meritorious, sometimes at graduation, people will be giving an honorary degree, which may honor that person in, I don't know, inventing a toy or doing something in the world, like flying to the moon or something like that. This, internationally, in the indigenous community, we're coming to recognize that there are thought leaders, knowledge keepers, who, through their lifetime of study of traditional ways of knowing and being, actually merit a degree at the same level as people who have doctorates. And I can tell you, from what I have known, I've known Michael for 30 years, and he certainly merits that degree. So the degree that he will be getting today is a meritorious degree, which means, of course, that he can now be referred to as Dr. Thrasher in any circumstance. So I wanted to introduce that difference to this, what we are doing today. It's the first time we are able to give such a degree at the doctoral level. Our actual doctoral graduates won't start coming on this stage until, what is it, next year or the year after? But at any rate, sometime later. And so, but we can now start that process with Michael. Dr. Mark Dockstader is a member of the faculty at Trent University's Chani Wenjack School for Indigenous Studies. Are you still teaching there? Yes. And he is also former president of the First Nations University of Canada. I invite Dr. Dockstader now to the podium to introduce our keynote speaker and recipient of Adler's first ever meritorious Doctor of Psychology degree, Dr. Dockstader.
Thank you, Chancellor Page. And Bob, thank you for your wonderful words of welcome and of greetings this morning. Can you hear me fine out there? Or is that a little better? Back there? That's what I thought. Love to wander around when I get a stage. But I'm here today, and it is one of those impossible tasks that you get. And as an Adler graduate, remember that one assignment that you got, and you said, I don't think that can be done. This is one of those assignments that I got done, that I got assigned to me, which was introduce Michael Thrasher to the crowd, everybody assembled here today, and do that in a couple minutes for a man that has literally defined an academic field of Indigenous studies. But I'm going to give it a good shot. To introduce Michael and the meritorious doctorate that is being granted by Adler, it's rare as academics, as you are academics now, to meet somebody who has actually defined an academic field of study. And you have to go back 50 years, and if you do go back 50 years, Indigenous studies as an academic field, it didn't exist. It was just emerging. And certainly universities and colleges across Canada, although they might have studied Indians or Eskimos at the time, the field was just emerging. And the questions that we are asking is, what does it look like, this new field of academic study? And Michael was one of those people back at that time who helped define the field, and define it in a way that hasn't done in any other academic discipline. To go back to Trent University and 40 or 50 years ago when I first met Michael, it was at something new. It was called an Elders Conference. And we have some people here who are there as well at this new innovative idea of bringing elders and students together. And the purpose was to share information. And that sharing of information, when it first started, there's probably more elders there than students. But that soon changed. When I got there in the early 80s as a young academic pup, there were thousands and thousands and thousands of people who would come to this gathering. And the word on the street was, you should go amongst all those elders that were there, and the tremendous amount of expertise and experience that was there. And they said, you should hear this guy, Michael Thrasher. He really has a different approach to this idea of how we integrate Indigenous knowledge with Western knowledge. So a few of us went, and I was at the lecture theater. It was called the Wenjack Theater at Trent University, about 10 times bigger than this. It's the biggest lecture hall at Trent. And when I got there, and I was early, it was already packed. Standing room only. So, oh my goodness, I don't think I've ever seen that before. As a lecturer, and you'll be one of those lecturers soon, and you get into an academic hall and that's filled, and think, what, are they giving out free pizza? Maybe answers to the exam or something. Even if I did that, you wouldn't get a full hall, but Michael had a full hall. Everybody was there and waiting, and he didn't disappoint. So there's a few of us academics that were there, and the general public was there, and for an hour plus, just talking about traditional ways of knowing and understanding. And he held the crowd for that time, rapt attention. That pin drop kind of approach. And he didn't have any notes. It was just, for us as academics, no notes. That's a high wire act with no net. And he was just talking and talking. And all of us were back here and we were thinking, what ology is this? Is this psychology? Is this epistemology? Is it philosophy? It was brand new to all of us. This Indigenous philosophy, there's these Indigenous ways of knowing and understanding. And that became part of a new academic field. So it wasn't that we just studied out of textbooks. It wasn't that we just had literature. It wasn't that we would just go to an academy, as you can across Canada now, and take a course on Indigenous studies and do it like any other course. It was being defined differently by Michael and others who were there, as it has to incorporate Indigenous knowledge, elders, traditional knowledge holders. And it's going to be difficult, and it's going to be a hard path. But it's one that started, like I said, building this nascent, this growing academic field of Indigenous studies, so that now all the things that we take for granted, and it didn't exist back then. We certainly at U of T wouldn't have had drummers or land acknowledgements or courses on Indigenous studies. You wouldn't have elders and traditional knowledge holders coming to universities and academic institutions to teach. And it didn't have to be that way, but it turned out to be that way because of the hard work and the heavy lifting that was done by those like Michael who made the sacrifice, who traveled 50 out of 52 weeks of the year in communities, helping people and ensuring that this knowledge base remains not only vibrant, but one that can be transferred over to the next generation. And always thinking not only of those who have come before, but those who are coming after. So it is with great humility and great honor that I have the pleasure of introducing a person, Michael Thrasher. You might hear Mushum Thrasher at some points. Mushum means grandfather in Cree. But he's at that point in life where he's made those contributions, made those sacrifices, and now can be called grandfather, Mushum, for us all, as academics, those in larger society, and to recognize, like I said, those who have made those sacrifices and have built an academic discipline that we can all now share in. So it's with pleasure and honor, in a very few short minutes, that I introduce Michael Thrasher, and the idea of one of those pioneers and one of those people at the forefront of an academic institution and an academic discipline that we have here today, and all the sacrifice and hard work that went into that. So with that, I bring up Michael Thrasher, Mushum Thrasher, for the conferring of the honorary or meritorious degree of psychology from Adler.
As chair of the board of directors of the Adler Graduate Professional School, it's my honor and privilege to award this Doctor of Psychology degree in clinical psychology to Michael Dean Thrasher, who has demonstrated an extraordinary achievement in this particular field, and it's conferred here in Toronto in the province of Ontario. Congratulations, Michael.
Thank you very much for all of the applause. My name is Michael Thrasher. My Cree name is Kawiwawit. It's hard to define that name, but it really means the one you can't hide from. In the order of affairs that we follow, Bob has already addressed the issue of giving thanks to creation, and I too would like to join into that thanks to creation. I also want to say Nanaskamat Mushuma Kukuma. I am grateful to my grandfathers and grandmothers, the elders who were so kind and so generous to me. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be standing here today. It is their kindness and their wisdom that they passed on to me that allows me to be here. By myself, I am nothing, and I know nothing. They are the wisdom of ages. They were generous, they were kind, they were open, and they worked me hard. They also gave me the gift of knowledge with a responsibility. I did not grow up on an indigenous reserve. I am not a Treaty Indian. I'm not even a Manitoba Métis, but I am of indigenous heritage, and I have studied with bona fide elders from our communities across all of Canada. I have traveled to all three oceans and met all of our people from every walk of life in Canada. It's important for me to pass on knowledge that sometimes is not part of the mainstream understanding of things, like the word Canada. In my Nehiyuan language, it is pronounced Canada, like the name of the city outside of Ottawa. There they've named it after a village upstream. No, it has much more meaning than that and much more complex than that. Kanata means clean place. Think about that. As you graduate today and you begin your second stage of learning, the book part's over, all right? Now you got to pay attention. Now it comes the work of developing your skills, your understanding, and your senses for these things. If you're a Canadian or a Kanata, you must have a clean mind, a clean body, and a clean spirit. All the things that Bob mentioned this morning were dedicated towards helping you become that person. We are unique in this world in Canada. In our world, in our Indigenous world, nowhere in all of the history I have been able to track, as far back as I've been able to find, there is not one instance on all of Turtle Island where we had a holy war. Yeah, we fought. We fought about land, we fought over women, we fought about all of the silly things that every other human fights about, but not a holy war. For us, there was no devil in our world before Europeans arrived. We did not have that concept of understanding. And so our life was devoted to a way of clean living. Given that, when the elders were giving me information and training, they gave me what we call responsibilities. I don't look at these things as Indigenous rights. I think of them as Indigenous responsibilities. They gave me knowledge, they gave me understanding, they trained me how to use it, and they gave me the responsibility of passing it on to future generations. This is heavy, okay? And you're going to be wearing one too. It's a weight, but it's a good one, and it will allow you to be of good help to other human beings. I'll give you a small example of what I have come to understand mental health as being. Mental health, you know you're in good mental health yourself when you can laugh at your own foils and foibles. Okay, when you can laugh at yourself, you're in good shape, all right? And if you can get your clients to laugh at themselves and their errors in life, you will have achieved some stage of healing with them. An example of that for me, I was working with an elder. His name is the late Peter Ochis, and he was a premier elder in our community, a great man. And we were in a workshop working with the Department of Indian Affairs and the Department of Medical Services. It's way back in the 1970s. And the government was trying very hard to get a settlement on all the land claims, peanuts. I mean, they weren't being real about it. And all of the senior staff from the department was trying to pester this old man about land claims, land claims, land claims. That wasn't what we were there for. We were there to do a cross-cultural awareness kind of thing. It wasn't about settling land claims. And our elder was somewhat nonplussed about this whole situation. We took a lunch break, and he kind of disappeared. And we went, where did he go? Well, it's time to begin again, and the other participant said to me, go find Musham. And I went, okay. I went looking for him, and I found him tucked way back in a corner in the lobby of the hotel. We were in the convention center. And he was sitting there with his hat pulled down over his eyes, and there was a big round ashtray in front of him, and it was just full of cigarette butts. He had been sitting there for an hour trying to figure out this issue of how he would address it. And I asked him, what's your difficulty? And he said, land claims, land claims, land claims, land claims. It's not why I came here. And I went, yeah, I know. Everybody's talking about that these days. In fact, just recently I was back east. We were in Edmonton. Recently I was back east, and there was a big land claims meeting. I went to it. Really? I said, oh yeah, there were all kinds of people there. There were Dutch people there were French people there were English people there, all of them Ukrainian people. They all wanted to make a land claim. Dutch people landed on Plymouth Rock. The French people built trading posts along the St. Lawrence. The English people claimed their Hudson Bay trade routes. Everybody wanted a piece of the land. And there was one old man, indigenous man in the back. And at the end of the day, he stood up and he said, I've got a solution to these land claims. All you Dutchmen, go back to Holland. All you Frenchmen, go back to France. All you Englishmen, go back to England. And all you half-breeds can go halfway back. He realized then that I wasn't telling a real story, I was just helping him to humor himself. And he started to laugh. And he laughed until tears ran down his face. And I thought to myself, sitting with him, gee, it was kind of a cute story, but it ain't that funny, you know. And he kept laughing and laughing and laughing. And finally, he choked back his laughter and he looked at me and he said, Nimichagan, which is the person who walks beside me for life. He said, Nichagan, I'm about 200 yards offshore myself, he said. And I went, me too, the other shore. Okay. And we laughed about it for another 5 minutes, and then we went back to work again. When you can find humor in your everyday life, when you can find humor with your clients, when you can raise somebody's spirit up. Often we talk about ourselves being mental healers, mental health people. For us, a human being has a mind, has a body, and has a spirit. The mind thinks, the body does, the spirit feels. You know that you cannot have a thought without a feeling, and you can't have a feeling without a thought. If you do, we have a title for you. It's called psychopath, okay? You need to be able to bring that mind and spirit together. This is where it comes out, right here. When we're dealing with mental health, we are also dealing with the health of a person's spirit. Raise the level of that spirit, and you raise the level of that mental health. Here, you are starting on a journey. It's the beginning for you. They call it a graduation, but not really. This is where you start to work and gain the experience of life. I wish you all of the good luck on this journey. You're going to need it. There are a lot of people who are not well, and you're going to give them help. Please be patient with them and be patient with yourself. You have a long journey ahead of you. I wish you the best of that journey and the best of luck in your life. Be happy, be cheerful, and have peace of mind. Thank you.
Just a small example of the kind of teaching that I have had the pleasure of being around for the past, 34, 35 years now in my work and study with Michael. I consider him one of my life mentors. I am now very pleased to present some Chancellor Awards. As a Chancellor, I get to give out awards. Isn't that nice? The first one is for someone who will be very familiar to every student, every staff member, and every instructor since our first degrees were granted. and we didn't have room to put her on the stage. She should be here, but is Annette there? Annette Smith? Come up, Annette. So, you know Annette. In all her many roles, she has now taken over. Talk about fun and laughter. Annette is a leader in that respect. And so we have now appointed her as the student vice president for student and alumni engagement. So you folks are now alumni. You keep in touch. Adler Graduate Professional School Chancellor's Award presented to Annette Barbara Smith for always being willing to do what it takes, and I think all of us can say that is the case, to do what it takes for us all to be more of who we can be. I think that encapsulates the tremendous contributions that Annette have made to the school. Congratulations.
Awesome. It's been a while since I was on a stage at a graduation. This is good. First of all, thank you very much, Linda. Thank you, Chantel. Thank you, everyone. I really appreciate this. I think the graduation is sort of a big thing for the staff as well, because we get to see you sort of come to the end of this part of your journey, and it's so fulfilling. And so to receive this here is just, it's wonderful. So thank you very much. All of you, do more of what makes you feel like yourself. That's the only advice I can give you. Thanks. Thank you.
This next award is for someone that very few of you know. In fact, I just met him today. But I can tell you that without his support, we would not have this school. At the very beginning, we needed some support, some financial support. Luigi Visconti stepped forward and made it all possible. And so I thought here at our 11th convocation, it's about time we recognized his contribution. Would you like to read this? Luigi is a friend of our Chief Financial Officer, James Essex. Jim Essex.
Thank you. I'm Jim Essex. I'm the CFO, and I realized today that Norma, who you all know, and I joined Adler on the same day 25 years ago.
Really? Oh, congratulations.
And the reason I joined was primarily because of Linda Page. She's such an inspirational person. And Luigi, I have known for 50 years, has been a good friend. And I approached him before we started the MSI program, and he agreed to be a financial supporter and helped us get the first accreditation to offer the degree. And he's been a financial supporter for Adler ever since. So I'd like to read this for Luigi. Adler Graduate Professional School would like to present a Chancellor's Award to Luigi Visconti for unseen financial support that has provided a backbone for our school since 2010. With gratitude, Linda Page, founder and chancellor.
It was a pleasure being part of this organization and knowing Jim for such a long time. It was easy to do it. Thank you.
have an additional award for a person that every one of our graduates has met, and many people who didn't end up graduating, because Fiona Haldane is retiring this year as our Director of Admissions. We will miss you. Where's Fiona? Is she? Fiona, come up here. And congratulations, Fiona. And this award actually is presented to, it's not a Chancellor's Award, this is a school award, presented to Fiona Haldane, a retirement award presented to Fiona Haldane, for 14 years of welcoming new students with the kindness and grace we want our school to be known for. I think in many ways, Fiona epitomizes that. Is that right? You agree? With gratitude, this actually comes from Chantal Hollander, our CEO. I should have had you read it, Chantal. You can just say, oh, congratulations. Congratulations.
I'll just say thank you. Thank you.
And now, for what actually brings us here today, and that is the presentation of graduates for confirmation. Many of you may know that these graduates actually officially received their degree when they completed their requirements over the past year. However, I mean, you know, some of them needed to have that degree to get a job, and so we thought, why make them wait? But we certainly want to celebrate. And so today you are here to actually have your degrees confirmed by the chair of the Board of Directors. Our Dean of Students, Julie Brown, represents faculty. She will hood the graduates. Each of you will bring your hood up. And Dr. Jim Little, who represents the Board of Directors, will present the diplomas, or shake your hand because you'll get your diploma today. This indicates confirmation by the school's governing body that our degree conferral process matches accreditation requirements of the Ontario Ministry of Colleges and Universities. It's the official, we done it. I think Norma is just putting a little tape up here so that when you come up, she'll instruct you when you come up. If some of you want to take a picture, we welcome you to come up and take the picture while the graduate, please, as you get the congratulations and your hood, then stand here for a moment, so if anybody's going to take your picture, they can do that. I invite our registrar, Camille Waddell, to begin the presentation of the graduates.
Hi, everybody. I now have the great honor of presenting the graduates for the hooding ceremony. Anyone who's ever attended a convocation ceremony before will tell you that I'm the worst person for this job because I always cry right through this part. As the registrar and as a staff member, I get to become intimately familiar with all of the students and see them all through their journey through the program, and I just want to let all of you know how deeply, deeply proud we are of each and every one of you. So without further ado, I'll be presenting the graduates. If there's any friends or family of the graduates who would like to take pictures, you're welcome to come up into this center aisle. So please leave the aisle clear for friends and family. Fantastic. So we're going to start with Sarah Juglal. Julia Rosemary Sarek. Meera Balasubramaniam. Vicente Malgoza Moreno. Lauren Greenwood. Christian Alexander Garo. Amy Schwinar. Rebecca Vona. Zaba Safi. Stephanie Lorraine Nichols. Douglas Scott Bolton. Marta Justina Jelic. Henry Kyohung Lam. Elsa Francia Alvarez Castro. Melissa Wingyang Chan. Connor Guy Laforge. Jenna Smith Haddle. Christine Medved. Shervin Zinali. Katie Lena Lawrence. Emily Rose Grunthal. Natalia Cavejo Cassidy. Ashley Henderson. Alana Michelle Fiore. Camille Alizadeh. Tanisha Tushar Soda. Laura McKinney. Miraj Anjum Syed. Priyanka Pankaj Kimsharia. Connor Fulton Woodside. Tamaya Clara Laszlo. Nelly Zia. Sloan Raquel White. On behalf of the school, congratulations, everyone. We're so proud of you.
I'd like the graduates to stand and turn toward the audience. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the 2024 Masters of Psychology graduates.
Every year, graduating students select one of their peers to represent them as valedictorian. This year, graduates selected Sloan Raquel White.
Hello. Can everyone hear me? Oh, yeah, okay. A lot of people up here, okay. So, hi everyone. My name is Sloan White. I'm very grateful today to be delivering the valedictory address and representing the members of the graduating cohorts. Thank you for electing me to put some words together in an attempt to capture our massive accomplishment. Today, I'd like to reflect on some stories and share a few of my learnings from Adler and graduate school journey in general. I think these recollections and teachings will encompass the shared experiences of those of us here before me. Through this program and the work that we're now doing beyond, one really comes to understand the value of stories. It's the territory in which we work. So let me start by telling you all a little story. So when I graduated from my undergrad program, it was the height of the pandemic in 2020. I had zero clue what I wanted to do with my life, what my next move might be. So my mom in the audience, the one kneeling over there, she may know where I'm going with this. I continuously bugged her to have the life talk. Well, what does that even mean? I still don't even really know. I felt a little lost about the next chapter of my life, what that would look like. I was very impatient. I was craving a sense of certainty, control, and direction at a time when nobody really had that globally. As my mom helped me navigate the next chapter of my life, I found myself applying to Adler. This was initially a rather exploratory venture. It wasn't like I grew up knowing I wanted to be a psychotherapist. I mean, I've never actually really heard a kid say that. I don't know, maybe you guys have. It felt like I kind of stumbled upon this path, honestly. Just kept satiating my interests, my values. Looking back, it's a decision I'm very grateful for having made. At first, I was really scared to embark on further education, really questioning myself, my abilities, my dedication, and even being very intimidated by the word thesis. What I took away from this beginning is that there will be times where it can feel like you have no idea what you are doing, where you are going, how you will do something, while simultaneously figuring it out. I came to accept I will be feeling this time and time again throughout this program. Whether it was in our first week of motivation and values, learning the importance of the healthy mind platter, in interviewing an alliance, when within the first month of graduate school, having to engage in mock sessions with our peers, feeling so nervous, truly forgetting how to speak human. In our statistic courses, well, that's just numbers and math, pretty scary. As my dad said today, I'm not getting a master's degree in math. So there were many instances when the path forward was ambiguous. We were in that together. During our first year, the first leg of our journey, we set our foundation. In our second year, finally being able to attend classes in person, starting our practicum, and participating in electives, this was our application leg, came a unique set of fears and challenges that all of us here have overcome. Do you guys remember your most challenging moment throughout this journey? I encourage you all graduates and audience members alike, and those of us here on stage as well, to take a moment to think back to a time where you felt overwhelmed, burnt out, unsure, scared. Maybe that time is right now. Now, I want you all to acknowledge that we are here. To be here means we are resilient, we made it, we are making it. Take this moment to slow down and acknowledge what we have accomplished in the past 2 years. It's kind of surreal to me. Now that we are graduating, we are not done with the sense of insecurity, uncertainty, imposter-like feeling. My hope for us is to continue experiencing this feeling and actually to actively seek it out and let it guide us. It is no longer something I fear or avoid, but rather embrace, as this discomfort is the path of growth. To my fellow students, I want to remind you to welcome this feeling as well. I encourage you to realize what a difference it makes when you allow yourself time to adjust to whatever transition awaits you beyond our convocation. Pay close attention when feelings and thoughts of insecurity arise. Notice how you are stepping out of your comfort zone, perhaps a significant step. Trying anything different for the first time will result in nerves, self-doubt, and maybe fear. Know that this is completely normal. I like to imagine these thoughts of being an imposter as salespeople coming to my door, and they are very, very persistent in what they're trying to sell. We have a choice. Do not let them in. Do not subscribe to what they are selling. Have a little faith in yourself. You know more than you think you do, and you are capable. Entering this program, I wish someone gently reminded me of the cliche, progress over perfection. Now exiting it, I am happy to be the one to remind you all of this sentiment. Be intentional, set goals, and do your best. What I have found to be most salient when considering this journey of graduate school, and what is essential to pass on to all of you, is to look for the intrinsic motivation. It is so easy to get caught up in due dates, grades, hours counted for practicum, or now our respective regulatory colleges, that sometimes we forget why we are doing something in the first place. Sometimes assignments have seemed tedious, boring, or just inapplicable. However, learning in a school environment like Adler, there is no place for rote memorization. Instead, it is worked on reframing and reworking our way of being and approaching the world. Yes, there are specific takeaways from each class or capstone. Those, I'm sure, are much more subjective for all of you. However, what permeates you subconsciously throughout this program is remarkable. Take that in and find the intrinsic motivation in whatever you do. Intrinsic motivation allows us to show up as our best selves. It fosters resilience, allowing us to remain sustainable in such a demanding profession and facilitating our goal attainment. How I have cultivated intrinsic motivation in my work and throughout my time at Adler is through checking in with the bigger picture, participating in mindfulness, taking on an action-oriented mindset, leaning into the support of my cohort, shifting my perspective of learning to progress goals instead of outcome goals, and taking breaks and respecting my moments of overwhelm. On behalf of my fellow graduates, thank you to our family and to our friends for supporting us along this journey. Thank you to my fellow graduates for your support, vulnerability, inspiring ambition, the most solid community, and your sense of safety and encouragement. It has been an honor to fail, triumph, and grow with you guys. I'd like to give a thanks to our professors, our guides, our motivators, our challengers. You guys have really shaped us. And lastly, I want to thank someone who guided me from start to finish at Adler, from GP 100, transitional equivalency courses, statistics, my MRP supervision, Dr. Adam Lazinski, a truly impactful individual who influenced all of us here. He passed away very recently. He was the kind of person who touched many lives, was very eccentric, and definitely left his mark. As a final thought, congruent sort of with this theme of our journey, I want to leave you all with my graduation quote, poetically put by Dr. Seuss. So, you have brains in your head, you have feet in your shoes, you can steer yourself in any direction you choose. I wish you all the best, and thank you so much.
Okay, next we have the oath. First I wanted to say, with Sloan's talk, you can see why we are so proud of these graduates. Just outstanding members of the mental health community. Each of these students has been trained to offer psychological services to those in need. This is a responsibility, as Michael has told us, he tells us. It's a responsibility that requires care and dedication. We ask now the graduates to stand to repeat the oath of your new profession, led by Dr. Jim Little.
Faculty, if you'd stand to take the same oath too. As I begin my journey as a healing professional, I make this oath to myself and to the community. And you read this along with me. Okay. I will, first, do no harm. I will strive to be wise, compassionate, and contained with those in my care. I will speak up against torture, exploitation, and violence, and will tolerate no bullying. I will protect those who are vulnerable and cannot speak for themselves. I will be silent when it is time to be silent, protecting the sacred oath of confidentiality. I will speak the truth. I will be respectful of all people, including all protected by the Ontario Human Rights Code. I will know my abilities, my limits, and myself. I will ask for help when I need it and acknowledge when I don't know something. I will give back and strive to make my presence a healing one in the world. I will take care of myself so that I can care for others. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you so much. To complete our ceremony today, I would like to ask the drummers to come forward and be prepared as we exit. But first, our Indigenous advisor, Bob Watts, will offer a closing.
Just wanted to say what an honor it's been to witness this ceremony. Two things I reflected on a lot while witnessing this. One was how sore my face got, because when you see people smiling, it's hard not to smile back. And all of you were smiling so wonderfully. And I was just smiling too, and that brought me a lot of happiness and a lot of hope. And that's what I think about when I think about that oath that you just took, and all the words that have been spoken here today is hope. And all of you represent hope for a world that sorely needs a lot of hope. And I just wish so much goodness and so much happiness for each and every one of you on your journey of hope. And may you all just be such a blessing for the world. When we close our meetings and our ceremonies, we don't have any good words for goodbye. We usually say something like, safe travels, see you soon, be well, take care. I hope when you get back home that your loved ones are just so happy to see all of you. And so for all of those things, I wish for all of you in place of goodbye. At the start, I mentioned about building a fire amongst ourselves. And one of the elders I admire so much, he uses that idea of fire. And the way that he would close meetings, he would say, and now we come to that place where we lower the fire. But just know that that fire is still burning, and that it's always there to help guide you and to protect you and to warm you and to give you light. And it's always there to take care of those things that may not be serving you particularly well. Just put them in that fire and ask the fire to take care of those things for you. So as we lower that fire and get ready to close this part of this ceremony, maybe just think of that fire and think about those times when you'll come back together again in pairs or maybe in larger groups, and you'll raise that fire up amongst yourselves and sit around that fire and talk about your journey and talk about that hope that you've been able to give to the world. Miigwech and Yawagoa, many blessings to all of you. Thank you for allowing me to be part of your community and your circle. Miigwech.
Thank you so much, Bob, and congratulations again to the degree recipients. Miigwech to you all for making this ceremony so very special. Thank you so much to the drummers. And please be seated until the graduates have exited. The faculty will be drummed out first, and then the graduates will be piped out. I hereby declare the 2024 convocation complete.